Okay, welcome back. The second video idea for tonight, based on my collection. I thought, okay, what are the top 20 albums in my collection which I find to be flawless, 10 out of 10 maximum rated albums that I do own, physical copies. Albums which, okay, you can call them Desert Island discs again. But I mean, absolutely flawless. Cannot remove any marks for any fault or anything. Stuff that, obviously I like more than these 20 from my collection, but you've got to narrow it down to 20 from your collection, not outside the collection. 20 albums which, I keep saying they're just flawless albums to you, or you just cannot find any kind of flaw in them. I haven't put these in order. These are not in order. These are just 20 albums which I find flawless and they're in my collection. Okay, the first one is At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul. Just a flawless set of melodic death metal songs. Released back in 1995 at the height of the melodic death movement in Sweden. This one blew me away. This is just literally the best melodic death metal album of all time, in my opinion. Just a killer release, great production for that time. Very sort of scratchy, harsh vocals, but suiting the music very well. So first one is At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul. Second album, coming to the UK, it's Carcass and Heart's Work. Yeah, again, I heard this actually, obviously before, I heard this on release actually. Before At the Gates, it was 1993-4, I think it was released. It blew me away. Carcass, absolutely amazing. Jaw-dropping musicianship, heavy production, just great, groovy, heavy, technical enough death metal. Very catchy bands, faultless riffing, huge production, a faultless album in my opinion. Next is Death and Symbolic. Again, a faultless album. I should add that each band is only allowed one album, so there will be no repeating albums in here, because obviously some bands might have had more than one faultless album, but to give one space per band is fair enough. So anyway, Death, Symbolic. I could have chosen other Death albums, but I have to choose Symbolic. It's just perfect for me. It's the most melodic death album. I don't know, it's flawlessly produced. It's not like super technical, but it's just got enough technicality, but it's the songwriting that wins me over every time. I mean, it's just flawless when you listen to it. Just a killer 10 out of 10 album. Next is Falconer's self-titled debut power metal release from Sweden. This blew me away when it first came out. We hadn't heard anything like this in the power metal community. These type of vocals, Matthias Blad singing his very theatrical sort of like baritone, folky songs, and the songs were like just majestic power metal, like very catchy, heavily produced, catchy riffs, a little bit folky, just awesome stuff. We hadn't heard much like this. I mean, it really captured the imagination. Okay, next is Iron Maiden, Power Slave. I've already talked about this album. Yeah, it has to be there. It's just a flawless Maiden release. Production is at its optimum level. They've got a few albums under their belts. Everyone is at their optimum level. I mean, they're not getting too old. They just know the way they have to write melodic, classic metal songs. Everything just sits there perfectly. It's flawless. Next is Jethro Tull's Aqualung. Again, I mentioned this in the other video, but I have to mention it again. Yeah, it's definitely Jethro Tull's best album in my opinion. A very cool album. Ian Anderson's best vocal times, heaviest guitar tone sound for Tull, interesting songs, interesting lyrics. Very cool album from, it's the oldest album in my list by far, from 1971 I think it came out, by far the oldest. Next is Judas Priest's Painkiller. Yeah, I've mentioned it before again. Every song is a winner, absolute killer, top-notch melodies, powerful, heavy, melodic. Halford on best form. This was Priest going full throttle metal, slightly leaving their, slightly leaving their straight heavy metal roots, going more to power metal, if you like. Very cool album. Everybody loves Painkiller. It's hard to find much fault there. Okay, next is King Diamond and Them. Again, I mentioned it in the other video. What was the point of this video again? I love King Diamond's Them. It's a faultless album for me. Very cool, very cool. Next is Lost Horizon, a flame to the ground beneath. Lost Horizon only had 2 albums, but this one is absolutely flawless. It's one of the monuments in epic heavy power metal. Daniel Hyman on vocals, one of the most epic vocal performances in power metal history. Epic music, just everything is on epic level 10. Next is Megadeth, Rust in Peace. Can't say too much about it, everyone knows it's a killer, top to finish, top to bottom. Metallica and Justice for All, yeah, top to bottom killer. Heavy pounding thrash metal, progressive as well, just a killer. Next is In Flames and the Jester Race. Again, I love this album. It's my favourite In Flames album. Just an awesome album. I loved it, along with At the Gate, Slaughter of the Soul. These two were my favourite melodic death metal albums back in 1995. They were released very close to each other. They were, in direct competition with one another. And I mean, At the Gate is my favourite of all time, and In Flames Just a Race is the second favourite melodic death metal album of all time for me. Next is Paradise Lost and Draconian Times. This is easily my favourite Paradise Lost album. It's just awesomely epic. The songs are moody, dark, very melodic, very cleanly produced. Nick Holmes is not really singing too rough, which I prefer when he doesn't sing rough. The band is at the top of their game. I mean, I'm sure a lot of Paradise Lost fans would list this, or maybe Icon, or I don't know, somewhere around that era as being their best stuff. But Draconian Times, yeah, it's just an awesome album. Next is Sabotage, The Art of War. Again, I love Sabotage. I think they're an awesome band, awesome fun power metal band, war themes in every song. This album is my favourite. I mean, it's just a killer. I can't find any fault with it. It's just an awesome album. Next one is Sabotage, Hall of the Mountain King. Yes, easily their best album. Every song is a winner. Killer, the title track. 24 Hours Ago, Strange Wings. I mean, so many classic songs, so many cool tunes. It's Sabotage that, again, I keep saying this, top of the game. Next is Sonata Arctica and Ecliptica, their debut album. Blew everyone out of the water when it came out. Speedy, melodic, happy power metal from Finland. Just a rush of energy with this album. They've never really been able to top it, in my opinion. They've had some good attempts, very good albums since, but none could match Ecliptica. The songwriting was immense, very memorable, very catchy. Okay, 3 albums to go. Testaments, The New Order. Again, I mentioned it in the other video. this video is a bit superfluous, considering I already mentioned these albums, but what the hell anyway. Yeah, Testament, New Order, just a killer. Second round sophomore thrash metal record for them. Awesome. Every song is a killer, and they still play a lot of these songs live to this day. Next album is Virgin Steel and Invictus. Again, mentioned it before, mention it again. It's easily my favourite, Virgin Steel. It's a full epic album. Epic, heavy, classic, power, true heavy metal. And the last album, which I didn't mention before, but it's because obviously I don't have enough of the band's albums. It's Wuthering Heights and Far From the Madding Crowd. Now this one is a bit more obscure. I think this is just a monumentally good, epic, symphonic, heavy, melodic power metal album. Far From the Madding Crowd is just like epic. The vocalist on this is Niels Patrick Johansson, the famous Swedish guy who's in Astral Doors, and he was in other bands as well. Lion's Share, I think he's in now. And he does his solo stuff. He's been in a lot of bands. He's sung on a lot of albums. And he was the singer for Wuthering Heights, who've sort of like mainly disappeared now. They're not really active, I think. Maybe they're active, but they haven't really released anything. They've got... Every album of theirs is, you know, solid, but Far From the Madding Crowd is just... It's a killer. It's just like a 10 out of 10 album for me. I just love everything about that album. Okay, there you have it. My top 20 faultless, flawless, 10 out of 10, top of the game albums in my collection. Okay, that was 2 videos for tonight. Stay tuned.